Hey, it's Jack Bly here, and welcome to the video. Today we're talking about how to go viral and really turn all that attention and views into actual clients. So this is not for you if you're just trying to, be a celebrity or be famous or something just for vanity's sake. I'm really speaking to people who have coaching or consultant businesses, people who want to sign clients from this online attention and views. That's really the only reason I do what I do. I don't care about being famous or whatever. So this will be step by step. I'll show you exactly how to create viral content that converts into clients. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jack Bly. This process has helped me generate 87 million views in 1 month. It's helped me book thousands of appointments for my coaching business, and this process has signed me, time of recording, 550 plus clients. All right, so with all that said, let's dive in. There's gonna be no fluff. We're just gonna dive into actually how to make this happen. So the first concept we have to understand is how do we actually convert a stranger into a paying client? That's the premise of this, right? We want more clients. So what we have here, this concept is inspired by Cole Gordon, by the way, but basically we have this. All right, so this is a beautiful drawing, I know. But basically there's Hell Island, there's Heaven Island, and then there's this boat in the middle. So your prospects, your target market, is currently sitting on Hell Island. So this is their current state. They're currently, overweight, they're currently single, alone, they're broke, whatever is their, this transformation that you help people with. This is their current state where they have all these pain points, all these problems, and they're stuck here. All right, now they have this desired state though. They have these goals, basically these dreams they want. They want to lose the weight, they want to be fit, they want to be high energy, they want to be in this thriving relationship, whatever it is. All right, that is their Heaven Island. All right, and there's these two states. Now, obviously there's a gap between now, their current state and their desired state. There's also boats, all right? So there's different boats for them to get there. They think, okay, maybe I could do it myself. That's one boat to get from here to here. There's different boats like competitors, and then there's your boat. Or you obviously want them to jump on your boat, which is your offer, to help them get from Hell Island to Heaven Island. All right, that's the whole concept here. That's why someone buys, is to go from here to over here. That's the only reason. And now our goal is to really two things with content. Our goal is two things. Number one, attract the right people who are in pain and stuck on Hell Island. So this is the current state. So we want to attract more of these people who are in pain and people who are our target market. And then number two, we basically want to give them the confidence that our boat, our offer, is the best boat to get them to Heaven Island. All right. We basically want to say, hey, our boats, we've done it before. We'll show you case studies, client results. We'll show that we're an expert, and we'll basically build confidence in this boat. That's going to work. It's not going to sink. There's no holes in it, et cetera, et cetera. All right, that's what we're doing with our content here. And so with that whole concept fleshed out, now let's actually get tactical, show you exactly how to go viral, how to convert that attention into actual paying clients. So two things, and then obviously if we can accomplish this at scale, you'll be overwhelmed with clients. So here's the process, or what makes up content basically. This is going to apply to every platform and every form of content. So this could be short form videos on TikTok to long form written content on LinkedIn. It really doesn't matter what platform, whatever you're doing, this can apply to you. All right, so I really critically thought about this. It's sort of what makes up a piece of content that actually matters, and there's literally two things. It's one, attention. So this is the most important. I mean, they're both important, but without this, you have nothing. So this is attracting the attention of your avatar in the first place. If you don't do this, if you don't know how to grab mass attention, there's nothing to do. There's no influencing. There's no getting clients. You don't have their attention in the first place. They're going to keep on scrolling. And there's number two, there's value. All right, so once we have their attention, we want to deliver some form of value in exchange for their attention. All right, sounds simple, right? The only two questions you're asking yourself is, are we hooking the attention of people we want, and are we giving them value? All right, if you don't do this, there's nothing that takes place. If you do this, but you don't have value, then they're not going to come back. All right, you kind of scam them. You kind of just clickbaited them and ripped them off. All right, so now that we know this, we know the principles and stuff, let's get down to actual brass tacks. How do you go viral with your content, and how do you get clients? So we're going to go ahead and break down how to accomplish these two things. First thing is attention. So listed below are the top traits I'd noticed of content that grabs a lot of the right attention. These things have helped me generate 87 million views in 1 month. So that was the record I hit. You can go very viral using these traits. All right, so first thing is hot buttons. So hot buttons are what we call topics your niche engages with a lot. Any topics that you notice your niche is talking about, they're engaging with, they're arguing about, this is stuff you want to talk about. All right, so example, let's say in the fitness space, one could be, intermittent fasting, for example. Some people love it, they preach by it, they stand by it, they live it. Some people hate it. All right, and so if you talk about a topic like that, it can lead to engagement and argument. Oh no, intermittent fasting is awful. No, it's amazing, blah, blah, blah. You want people to basically argue and engage with your content. All right, so anytime you just like mention a hot button, just by doing that, just by having the topic of your content about the hot button, you will get more attention, period. It's kind of a law. All right, whatever is something that's currently on people's mind. There's differing opinions about it. All right, so that's hot buttons. Number 2 is trending. So new things that people are actively talking about. So anything that is trending, like it's going to get attention just by you mentioning it. It doesn't even have to be good content. It should be, but just because you mention something that's trending, you will get more attention, period. Because you're entering the conversation in the prospect's mind. They're already thinking about, or they have some kind of like attention residue on this trending topic. And so when they see it again, it catches their attention. All right. Other thing here, pattern interrupts. So pattern interrupts is any stimulus that breaks the normal pattern of your niche's content. All right. So think about this, like in your niche, how do all the other coaches, creators, influencers create content? Like what does theirs look like? How does it sound? How do they start it? What's the style of it? There's probably a lot of similarities. Like they probably all look very, very similar, right? And so what you can do if you have any sort of pattern interrupt, anything that breaks this normal pattern of, okay, this is how the usual intro is, this is kind of like the usual setup, do something a little bit different. Just literally like slightly different, and this can be a huge pattern interrupt. So an example of this. Let me open up Twitter. And I'm going to show you like one of my most viral pieces of content that I've used over and over again because it works so well. So right here, this is an example of a pattern interrupt. So imagine you're scrolling and you see this picture. Like it's like, what the heck is this? Like there's literally like 2 tubs filled with ice in this lake, like this interesting, like in the woods or something. Like what the heck is going on here? Like literally just scrolling, and this is like weird. It's just like a weird thing. It's a weird stimulus. This is not normal like pattern on Twitter, on X. If you're scrolling, this is like a scroll stopper. That's the whole concept here. Like what is a different stimulus you can put in front of them that's going to stop them from scrolling? Could be a picture, could be a hook, could be, whatever, anything. All right, but that's like an example right there of a pattern interrupt. Number 4, avatar callouts. So this is specific words or phrases that call out your avatar. All right, so first one is labels. So this is pretty straightforward. This is self-identities that your avatar identifies with. So example, if there's a commercial and they mention fishermen, if they call out fishermen, like who is going to pay attention? Obviously people who identify with this label. And this is instantly going to get attention from people who fish. All right, so this is very straightforward. Just labels. Like what do these people identify as? If you say that word, obviously it's going to catch their attention more. Number 2, if-then statements. So if you fit XYZ criteria, then, XYZ. So here's an example of this, like what this actually means. So if you're a man over 15% body fat, read this. So if you fit this criteria, then take this action. All right, it kind of builds massive curiosity because you're like, hey, oh, that is me. And there's also like pictures right here to say, okay, yep, I'm somewhere in this range. And so you can clearly like say, oh, this is me. So let me read this. I'm just like massively curious. All right, so that's an example of if then. There's yes questions. These are questions where your avatar answers, yes, that's me. Another example of this. Do you sleep less than 8 hours? Read this. So a very simple question where if someone answers yes, they're very likely to read this. Like it's very simple because they're just like, oh yeah, that is me. I'm curious, like, what is he going to say? It just kind of retains their attention a little bit because this is calling out a certain avatar. Okay? So that's avatar callouts. Another one, this is a huge one. This is massive. Most pieces of content should have this, and that's dreams and nightmares. This is basically incentive. All right, we talked about the hell island and the heaven island. Dreams and nightmares is basically calling out the exact dreams your avatar desires, or the exact nightmares your avatar is currently experiencing or may experience in the future. So this is basically, hey, if you read this, I'll show you how to get dream. Or hey, if you don't read this, you're going to be stuck with nightmare. That's kind of like the underlying concept that's taking place here. That's how you can leverage dreams and nightmares. All right. And it's kind of similar, but I love this. This is something I learned from one of my mentors. So WIIFM radio. So this is what's in it for me radio. So this is like a trick to help you remember to always give your reader, your listener, whoever your audience is, basically incentive to pay attention. So anytime I'm really doing any communication, doesn't have to just be content, could be speaking to clients, could be anything, always tune it back into WIIFM radio. Basically meaning always go back to say why the person should pay attention to you in the first place. So if you've ever had if you had a friend or family member who just rambles and they tell you random stories and they don't hook you, they don't give you a what's in it for me, why should I pay attention? You're just kind of sitting there dude, why are you telling me? What is the point of the story? Or there's other people who you know who are great storytellers, and they'll give you like an awesome hook, like, oh my man, like, dude, you will not believe what happened. So and so just told me this, and they tell you a story, and so they hook you in at least. They give you a what's in it for me. They give you something. All right, this is what you need always if you're doing any content. Like at the beginning of this video, what did I do? I did a what's in it for me. That's an awesome trick. All right, what's in it for me is you can go viral and get more clients. All right, that's what's in it for you if you're watching this video. All right, so I always do this, and you can do benefit or consequence language. So I could have said, I said like a lot of these benefits of, okay, this did all these great things for me. This is going to help you do this. I could have said the consequences. Hey, if you don't do this, no one's ever going to watch your stuff. You're not going to get any clients, blah, blah, blah. I could have done the reverse. All right, so that's how you can apply that. And that's just a kind of a great trick to have to always revert back to that. And then some viral headline traits. So this is swiped from Alex Hormozi's book, by the way, $100 Million Leads. Definitely read it if you haven't already. Fantastic book. So we have here, these are basically traits of, it was a meta-analysis of a bunch of news articles and news stories. And they realized, okay, there's these 7 things that are the most common traits of news articles that are very viral, that get a lot of attention, basically. First one is recency. So something that just happened recently is breaking news, and that's just happened. All right, we have relevancy, anything that's personally meaningful. So if you are an entrepreneur, you're watching this video, and there's some news article breaks out about entrepreneurs, something like that. Basically, anything that's relevant to you personally, that's what that means. All right, so they call it a certain industry, and you're in the industry, you're going to pay more attention, anything like that. There's celebrity. So people just love celebrities. They're just like interested in them. So anything that includes famous people will just get more attention. All right, so if you're a fitness coach and you make a post about how this famous actor uses this diet routine or this workout routine, it's going to get more attention just because of the actor. Like, if you didn't say that, it would get less attention. It's weird, but like people care about weird things. All right, then there's proximity. So anything that's close to home. So I live in Florida right now. If I saw something that said, Florida residents, blah, 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 I would pay a little bit of attention to it because it's calling out where I live. It's close to home. The closer it is, like if they go down to city or they go down to like exact town or zip code, I would pay more and more attention because it's closer to home. There's conflict. There's opposing ideas, people, etc. So this is like, cold DMs versus running ads. All right, 2 different methods, or intermittent fasting versus carnivore. Like this kind of some conflict. All right, anything like that. Unusual. So unusual is basically pattern interrupts. So anything that's weird, uncommon, or rare that's unusual. Then we have ongoing. This is like things that are still happening, like right now in the live moment. So there's like a car chase that's live. A lot of people pay attention because like, oh shoot, like I don't know what's going to happen yet next. Is he going to crash? Is he going to escape? Like what's going to happen? All right, so those are the viral headline traits. So you can kind of just like, anytime you're writing content, always like go back to these things and think like, okay, how can I embed like at least 1 or 2 of these into my content to make it as good as possible, to make it, that viral potential, to grab as much attention as possible. Last thing is curiosity building. So anything that builds nagging curiosity of your avatar, whereas like they must know what you're going to say next. So this is also known as open loops. So example of this, like I remember I saw this headline, like it nagged my attention. I'm like, just like, what is it? Like, I got so curious when I saw this. And it was basically never eat these 7 foods on an airplane. All right, so this was the headline. And I was just like curious. I was like, what are the 7 foods? Like I'm about to go fly next week. Like what are they? And it was just like nagging curiosity. So I just read it real quick. And this is what you can do. All right. You basically like, this is an open loop. So it opens a loop with, hey, like don't eat these foods on an airplane, these 7 ones. And so you don't close this loop in your brain until you know what these 7 foods are. So just like it nags at you. It's curiosity. All right. So those are all the things to grab attention. This is just like absolute weapons. When you do this, you will drive more views. You will drive more clients as a result of this, just by doing these things alone. So I can guarantee if you apply this stuff, like this will transform your views and how many followers and obviously clients you get because of this. All right, so that's the attention part. Now we know like that's not it. Like we do want to attract the right people, but we still need to give them confidence that our boat is the right boat for them, the best boat to get them to Heaven Island. If we do that through your content, like you're going to drive way more clients. All right, you could be doing just one of these right now. Maybe you do have this part down, but you don't have this part down. And you're just kind of a commodity offer. Like no one really sees you as the authority. All right, so number 2 is value, of course. We need to deliver this value. So we actually reward them for their attention, but we also want to give them confidence. So how do we like combine this? It's actually quite simple. So value is anything that rewards the viewers for their attention. This is mainly going to be anything that entertains or educates them. And this is niche dependent. So some niches, like they might like a lot more entertainment. Some niche, they might be more education heavy. Some niches like both, right? But with this, like lucky for us, like providing value can be done while increasing confidence that we can get them the dream outcome. All right, so we can basically provide value and increase their confidence that we have the best boat, the best offer to get them to have an island at the same time. It's very simple. So here's examples. All right, so there's a bunch of topics right here we can use. All right, so the first one is this you pool. All right, so it's basically a lot of things about you as a person that you can leverage and create content about to, one, provide a lot of value, but also give them a boatload of confidence that, hey, like I'm the person to help you get this dream outcome. The first one is the hero story. So the hero story, if you don't know what this is like basically your rags to riches story, your transformation story. How did you go from fat to fit? How did you go to anxious to confident, whatever it is? All right, so you share your hero story. And this is something that can be entertaining, can be very inspiring. All right, it can obviously educate them. You can give them tips and tricks that you learned along the way. And also, this increases massive confidence. If they read your story, they resonate with you a lot more. They connect with you a lot more. They trust you a lot more. All right, so you see how it's doing both of these. Same thing with just sharing your before and after transformation. All right, it's inspiring and it's a form of proof. It increases confidence. All right, documentation of day-to-day. So this is anything you're doing, documenting your day, whatever you're doing, especially like as it involves or relates to your offer. This builds connection. It's entertaining, but also just increases confidence. Like, oh, this guy's a real guy. This is how he does it. All right, blah, blah, blah. Personal dream outcome. All right, or I skipped one. Your values and abilities. All right, so this is an interesting one. All right, so a lot of people don't do this. They don't share like your values and your beliefs in your content. You keep it all just like very vanilla and, keep it very focused on your niche, which is, you obviously need that type of content, but you need this other stuff as well. You need this connection. This stuff right here, what it does, it's really just entertaining if you share your values and belief, but it also builds massive confidence because you're not a robot. You're not just like a AI thing. You become human when you do this. And so it builds more trust in you, builds more belief, more confidence. Personal dream outcome. So this is just documenting, for example, for me, like, I help people grow their coaching businesses. And so if I document something like, me traveling, for example, it's a dream outcome they want. They want more freedom. They want to travel more. And so me just like posting about like, I don't know, a travel pic or something. Everyone likes travel pics. Like it's cool. It's kind of entertaining. And then also just increases confidence. Like, oh, that's cool. Like I wish I was traveling right now. And so you see how like all these things kind of interact and we're accomplishing both the value, but also the increase in confidence. And so we're able to increase confidence in our boat while doing this. So it's pretty freaking cool how this works. Let's see what else we got. Oops. So we have other things here, defining moment stories. This is like any moments that really defined you and kind of made you who you were. So sharing some of your struggles, your nightmares. This stuff really builds a deep connection. So it's entertaining, but also just increases confidence because again, it like shows you're a real human. Then there's other stuff here that you have to embed basically. So your social connections, endorsements, accomplishments. So these are things like that can build trust in you. Like let's say you were mentored by someone who's very respected in your space. You can't just have content saying, oh, like my mentor was this dude and like end the video or end the post. Like that's boring. And so you just have to embed it into like some other piece of value somehow. So you can basically combine this with, hey, like this is my mentor and this is the number one thing I learned from him to help me get this dream outcome. And so that's embedding it into something that's like expertise content. All right, so it gives them value still. All right, so endorsements, accomplishments, expertise content, conviction. Conviction is just like if you're doing video, especially like make sure you're just communicating in like a convicted tonality. That just builds more confidence. Then we have your clients. So a lot of people think like, oh, if I post about my clients too much, then this is like, it's boring and people think I'm just salesy and blah, blah, blah. All right, you're probably doing it wrong. So what you can do is you can obviously like post about your clients will obviously increase confidence that you can help people out because it's like very straightforward. Like these are people I've helped. These are people who have jumped on my boat and they've gone to Heaven Island. All right, so you're just documenting that. And this provides massive value because you can educate them and you can inspire them. All right, so if you have a case study and you share exactly how this person went from nightmare to dream, all right, that should provide value at educating them on what you did, the process, but also inspire them like, oh, holy crap, this is possible. This guy did it. All right, then obviously this accomplishes this as well. All right, so that's how you want to do your clients is you just have to do this properly where you do provide value. You still increase confidence at the same time. And then the last section we have here is belief building. So a big thing that people don't do, they don't think about it, is these objections that you get on sales calls of people like, oh, I'm too busy right now, or well, I can't afford it, or I don't know, like money, blah, blah, blah. Whatever these are, you can actually overcome these in content. All right, so for example, in the fitness space. Like, let's say someone doesn't want to join your program because like they have the holidays coming up and they don't want to give up their favorite foods. All right, you can overcome that beforehand if you post content of you eating ice cream, of you eating cookies. Because then you simply see, they see and they come to the conclusion, oh, wait a minute, that guy's fit and he's eating ice cream right now, huh? That must mean I can do that too while getting fit. And you can do these things to overcome these objections beforehand. All right, and also decreases effort and sacrifice. So it kind of increases value in your boat, in your offer. So that's killer. Like if you do, like this is, no one does this stuff, but if you do this, like you're gonna be way ahead of the game. And so you can basically prime people to become clients. All right, this is persuasion. All right, so that's the main stuff for providing value here. And I'm gonna show you some examples to kind of break this down a little bit more. So let's see. So first one, I showed you this before. So I want to break this down, like what are we doing here to actually grab attention? We talked about the photo is the pattern interrupt. We also have this headline. All right, so this headline, what are we doing here? So we're doing the open loop. All right, we're saying 7 steps. All right, 7 steps. So anytime you do like a list or steps or anything like that, where there's a number, it's this open loop. There's 7 things you have to do this, to accomplish this dream outcome. All right, there's 7 steps. So you're kind of curious, like, oh, what are the 7 steps? And then also we have the What's in it for me radio. We have the dreams and nightmares. So this is like talking about how to unfuck your testosterone. So obviously like this implies like, hey, your testosterone is messed up. And a lot of people are already problem aware of this. And so they know this is causing bad things for them. So this is an example of dreams and nightmares as well. Let's see if there's anything else I'm using. Hot buttons as well. So I noticed in the fitness space, testosterone is something that is a hot button. Anytime I created content about it, it would simply get more engagement. Like always, like forever. And you'll notice these in your niche. There's these certain hot buttons. If you just mention it, if there's content about it, you'll get more traffic. All right, so that's that. Yeah, so those are the big things there. We obviously did curiosity building. Those are the big things with the attention. Now let's go ahead and scroll through to see if I can notice anything else. So one thing I did right here, boom. So I embedded some more confidence building stuff. So we're providing a ton of value here that's very actionable, but I embedded a client transformation here. This is a real client who went from this to this. And so they're reading this, they're obviously getting value, but they're also all of a sudden like subconsciously, but they're increasing confidence that, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. All right, so you can do stuff like that. Embed proof. All right, here's a real picture of me and my business partners hiking in Sedona. So just kind of a cool picture. And then right here, we did some decreased effort and sacrifice. So we're providing value, but we're also saying, hey, you could just work out 3 times a week for 20 minutes, and you could increase muscle mass. All right, so that's decreased effort and sacrifice. You don't have to spend hours and hours in the gym. It's embedded. All right, do you see what's going on here? I'm doing a lot of things here. Right here, we're talking about more like hot buttons and trending things. We're talking about cold exposure, Wim Hof breathing, another kind of pattern interrupt picture. All right, so when you mention other things, like you don't have to just do the attention stuff in the headline. Like you can apply this throughout the whole entire piece of content, and that's just going to amplify it even more. That's how I generate so many views, is I'm just applying this stuff constantly throughout the whole entire long form piece of content. All right, so that's an example right there. Let's look at another example. All right, so this one, your belly fat is setting you up for cancer, heart disease, and early death. Follow these tips to shred your belly fat. All right, so obviously like what this is, like this kind of an example of a call out, an if-then statement. All right, so it's not explicitly like in that format, but saying like, hey, if you have this condition, like you probably want to read this. All right, so that's an example right there. And then obviously this is hitting on massive nightmare. I'm talking about cancer, heart disease, early death. Like that's not good. That's painful. We also have this pattern interrupt, this weird picture of this dude's got his nipple and then his insides, his organs right here. So it's a bit of a weird picture that stops you from scrolling. Like, what the heck is this? We also have this another one. It's kind of like a shocking fact. So the first thing in the list is 120 years ago, we walked 23,000 steps. Now we walk 3.5K steps per day. So it's kind of like a shocking fact. Like, oh shoot, I didn't know that. That's crazy. All right, so anything like that. And then you can see I apply this stuff throughout the thread as well. So I have pattern interrupts. I have some hot buttons in here. It's like, marriage is not a license to grow man moves. Like, that's a pattern interrupt. Like, who says stuff like that in their content? No one does, but I do. That's how I drove so much traffic here. 2.9 million views with this one piece of content. Okay, so those are some examples right there. I'm going to give you the final like bonus weapons here for viral content. So a huge one, a lot of people do this wrong, is a low FK score. So basically what this is like the grade to read level of your content. It can be obviously written, it can be video as well. But basically you want it to be at a 5th grade reading level. Like you want your content to be so easy to comprehend, it's instant. So there's calculators for this online. Let me show you this. So basically you can input your content right here, and it'll tell you like the graded reading level of it. So example, let's say we put this one right here, we put in this headline, we calculate it. All right, we can see, okay, so this is a 6th grade reading level, it's not bad. So ideally we're at a 5th, that's the best you can be. The worst you really want it is 7th grade, like that's really the worst. And most people don't know that. Most people talk very complicated, they have all these big words, and it's too hard to read. So this will basically tell you how easy it is to read. And think like with social media, like you don't have a lot of time to capture people's attention. So if you're at like a 10th grade reading level or like college level, you're not going to capture attention. People won't give you the time of day if they have to really think and like comprehend it. You want instant comprehension. So that is why we want to be at a 5th or 6th grade level reading level, maybe 7th, but really like you have to stay in this range. Anything beyond this is going to be just like harder, and you're going to lose so much attention by doing so. All right, so this means simple words, simple language, short sentences. It doesn't necessarily have to be short sentences, but you want to keep it very easy to understand and easy to read. And this will give you the exact results. So you can test some things around, you can play with some things to try to reduce this, and this will really help you out. So that's a big thing right here. Low FK score. Then we have loss aversion. So if you notice, like a lot of these threads I wrote leverage loss aversion. So basically what loss aversion is, it's this psychological tendency for humans to basically hold the value of losses more than gains. All right, so I said right here, losses loom larger than gains. So it's a survival instinct. Our brain is constantly thinking of problems, bad things that are happening. It's just survival. All right, that's what your brain thinks about. It thinks about potential problems and things that are going to kill you. All right, it doesn't think about too much the goals and the dreams, because it's not needed for survival technically. And so if you speak more about the consequences and the nightmare stuff, you're going to attract more attention. All right, losses just loom larger than gains. That's loss aversion. Then we have some huge key principles here. If you do this stuff, this is going to make it so much easier for you. So reuse winners. So if you have winning content, just reuse it and replicate it. Like I've reposted stuff like word for word, like 3 months later, and it still is really well. Like you've already written it, you already created it. You might as well just repost it. Like you can do it that simple. I can also like take inspiration from it. So if I saw like this went viral, if I'm talking about this topic, okay, let me write more about this specific topic, but let me obviously like reframe it, take a different angle here, kind of replicate it. All right, so definitely do that. Reuse your winners. And there's market validation, which is kind of the same thing, but just using other people's content. So look at other viral content of influencers in your space, take inspiration from it. So see like what are the hot buttons they're talking about? Like what are their styles? How are they hooking people? And take inspiration from it. All right. Repeat what is validated by the market. The market is massively validating a piece of content that went viral. So look at why did it do that? And let me replicate some of that. Then we have market research. The last thing here. The better you know your avatar, your target market, the easier it'll be to create content that truly resonates with them. So if you just know your avatar like the back of your hand, it's going to be very easy to write content and speak directly to them and speak their desires and their nightmares because you just know them. All right, so this is how you go viral and how you get clients. If you apply this stuff, like you're going to be unstoppable. You're going to be a weapon. I would not want to compete against you if you knew this stuff because no one really does this. But yeah, this is the video. If you are a coach and you want to add 10 to 30K a month to your coaching business on a pay and results basis, click the link below and we can chat. It's a completely free demo. So feel free to click it. If not, no worries. Hope you have an amazing day. You are amazing. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, hit the like button, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.